your videos must have been seen at this point tens of millions of times at a minimum, right? Tens of millions, not hundreds of millions of times. And I'm sure that you've had thousands upon thousands of students take courses from you that have been paid, like myself. Do you think that that's one of the biggest holdups for people who start this journey and find themselves 6 to 8 months in, and it just feels like they're banging their head against a wall over and over and over again, and they're falling into that this helpless cycle of it's just not working, right? Do you think that that might play a really big role in why so many people fail to have that initial success?
Well, 100%. They're actually, it's the free flow of information is a double-edged sword in that there's too much choice, And again, my major is psychology, so it's like if it's been shown if people have too many choices, it makes them unhappy. They get into analysis paralysis. In the tech space, they call it tutorial hell. Because they hear about this YouTuber says, you got to learn this, and this YouTuber, you got to learn that. No, you got to learn this, you got to learn that. And people are plagued with too many choices, and then they're worried they're going to make the wrong choice. And then they start up on something, and then they hit that wall, and then they go, the wall. And then they don't feel like they're making progress. But since they got 10,000 other choices, they go down this route. I've seen it over and over again. It's very common.
What do you say to somebody that feels like they're making the wrong choice? They just went down the full stack dev route. They bought somebody's course. They just watched the YouTube video, whatever it is, right? And they've been learning it for the past couple months. They're familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. They're starting to play with React, and they're like, oh, I want to go into mobile. I don't want to do this. I want to go into mobile now, right? That's going to be the cure-all to everything. What's your immediate advice to that individual?
Number one, I have an expression, if you're halfway there, you're nowhere. So you want to complete. So if you're learning the web and you haven't finished that off, if you're not comfortable, we'll use this as an example, building a responsive website. Build that responsive website. When you've built a responsive website, then you can sort of make a choice about which direction you may want to go in. That said, what I advise people to do is, as soon as you finish your foundations, so we'll take the web stack as an example. You do HTML5, some CSS3, some JavaScript, you can do a responsive site. It's time to step in the ring. It's time to start sparring. It's time to start building something. So what I have people do is say, go find a coffee shop, an independent coffee shop that needs a website. Go find a butcher, whatever. Your neighbor wants to start selling muffins online. Build something. Build something. That's my advice. You want to get in the ring. Another thing I always tell people is that you can't really make a wrong choice, because whether you learn JavaScript, Python, C#, Java, C++, they're all very similar. So let's say you decide to learn JavaScript and you go through it and you can walk the DOM and you've learned the basics of React and you've decided, you know what, I want to do iOS development in Swift. It's not a waste, because what you're going to find when you go learn iOS development with Swift, you're going to find that the principles that you studied
They're universal.
Java, they're universal. So you're going to learn Swift in a fraction of the time. It's like, boop, oh, okay, no problem. In fact, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I had somebody recently under one of my YouTube videos, he was talking about that, where he said he tried to learn React, and he tried, he couldn't get it done, and then he just said, okay, he fell back to HTML, CSS, vanilla, JavaScript, did this for about 9 months, making money. Then he said, there was a job that came up, and he went and he was able to get his head wrapped around React within a day.
So it's just that small break of just going back to putting in that daily work, that daily grind really opened everything up for him.
Yeah. It's just exposure. It's like sparring, right? I used to tell people, one sparring match is worth months and months of training outside the ring, right? And then you're going to get.
Yeah.
You agree, right?
Absolutely. It's unimaginable. It's kind of the joke. We had a podcast episode yesterday,